Hey, what's up, guys? Twintuitive717. I am back with another reading. I'm going to dive into a twin flame collective message, and I want this reading to focus on those of you who may be feeling like you've come to some kind of crossroads where you need to detach from some kind of cycle that you're in with your counterpart. Okay, so I'm getting words around inconsistency, just heartache, okay? A lot of miscommunication as well. It's like no matter how much you try to communicate with them, you either get blocked, they're not ready to talk about it, the tables get turned where it's like now all of a sudden the blame is placed upon you, and not being able to communicate with them clearly or be on the same page with them is now triggering some kind of silence or separation. And I feel like many of you are looking for that clarity as to like, what direction do I go in? Like, where do I need to put my focus into, so that I'm not taken over or overwhelmed by the triggers that I am now feeling. Okay, so let's tap into that. For those of you who might have had like a recent falling out, maybe you guys have been recently blocked and it just feels like rejection, loss. And it really does feel like a death or a loss, because it feels like a death because there's some kind of cycle that's coming to an end, right? Like there's some kind of lesson to be learned. I feel like rejection too is definitely a big theme on this journey for many of us to heal. But the way that I have been able to perceive the separation is that it's a gift, and ideally, yes, when somebody decides to ghost or to back away or to shut down, it really isn't about us. It's more about them and how it is they are perceiving their emotions. Sometimes emotions can be overwhelming, and the very person that's triggering that, of course, you're going to want to run from them or shut them out or be completely repulsed by their energy, right? Especially if they're coming at you to divulge. What's the matter? What's wrong? And it's like you can't even figure that out. Then yeah, you're definitely going to go into this mode of feeling like your mind is just all over the place and fragmented too. I feel like you don't know. Like I literally just, I don't know. Okay. So I feel like I'm picking up masculine energy here, because a lot of the times they are the ones that tend to do a lot of the blocking or the running. And it's because it takes them time for stuff to like filter through their emotions, right? Like for them, it's just, I don't want to deal with this right now. Like I can't process it as fast as the divine feminine energy. So for many of you who are experiencing this, if you can just kind of stop and pause in this moment and realize that the universe orchestrates separation so that you two don't just kind of like go insane, okay, or drive each other crazy. So I feel like a lot of the times if you take it as a way of knowing that this person needs a necessary time out here, sabotage and guilt tells me too that they don't want to react like this, but it's just a learned response. And if many of you can get past the trigger of somebody shutting you out, like if you can respect that, then I feel like there will be growth on your journey, right? So this could be a reading for many of you who are in separation energy, especially if you're the divine feminine here. There's an opportunity that's coming up for healing where instead of like when your masculine blocks you or shuts down, you might go into that mode of like, okay, well, now I'm going to block you and I'm going to delete all your pictures and I'm going to delete all your messages. And so now there's a battle. And so it becomes exhausting. You feel the energy of rejection more. You feel the loss of the connection more, because now everything that you've spent building up becomes destroyed. And it's all due to loss of control with your emotions. You sabotage the connection. Okay, so I feel like it's an important time to reflect on those behaviors and to stop yourself so that way you don't continue to experience these cycles in the same way every single time. Okay, and it's okay if you do. It's okay if you're listening to this reading in hindsight and you're like, shit, kind of already reacted that way, because union will happen again, okay? Reunion will happen again, you know? Even if you're in that place of like, oh God, we're never going to talk again, we're never going to speak again. You know, just from experience on the journey, I can tell you, like on the true twin flame journey, it's a lifelong journey. Like your energies are always connected, even if it's not in the physical. You'll still be able to feel them and be connected to them. Sometimes it's the hardest thing to do, is to wrap your mind around the fact that like, if it's not happening in the physical, then it means it's not real. It's just an illusion of the mind. Okay, so celebration, gifts, abundance is coming up because this is a time of you stepping back into these energies. Okay, I feel like the universe is saying you're drained. this connection is taking more from you than it's giving to you. Your gifts, the spiritual gifts that I have given to you to be able to share with others and to thrive in, it's being buried. You're not focusing on them. You're not paying attention to all of the blessings in your life. You're not being grateful for all of the other things that, are around you. It's time to take a break from this connection. You're losing sight. You're losing sight of yourself. You're losing sight of your goals. And it's all because you may be overpouring or giving too much. And that's why I was feeling like right now could be lessons around discernment, reciprocation, and just knowing not when to call it quits, but just when to take a pause or when to take a break. And it could be that hanged man energy coming through as well, where both of you need to stop and pause and take a look at the way you're looking at the situation. And mostly I feel like it has to do with like blame. This is about self-sabotage, okay? And I feel like it has a lot to do with expectations. I'm picking up that the divine feminine energy has a lot of expectations around closeness. And I feel like for the divine masculines, they might have issues around being close to someone, okay? And then they end up exuding behaviors that push you away, which ends up triggering a lot of your hurt, the rejection, abandonment. And so both of you are in this place of saying, we need space because we're responsible for healing this within ourselves, okay? So you have a choice now to walk the path, okay? So there is a conscious decision now in this separation, in this silence, this big whole trigger of you two separating and feeling like we're never going to see each other, we're never going to speak to each other. It's like you have the opportunity now to make a decision, 222. Okay, many of you could be seeing that while you're in this place of like just stress, feeling like, oh my God, I want to focus on work, I want to focus on my business, my money, my kids, my family, but it's like this twin flame thing is weighing on my mind. Many of you have a decision to step onto a new path where you just allow divine timing to do its thing. You don't hold on to worry and fear. You become responsible for your own emotions and healing that. And I feel like don't wait around for your twin to do it. You do it, right? Don't wait around for them to reach out. Many of you might be stuck in that cycle of like, oh my God, I'm blocked. It's like every day, instead of just releasing it and going out there and like taking care of your business, doing shit for yourself, you guys are just like spending like, so much time checking up on them and checking 10 times a day whether they've unblocked you or not, or all of that takes from you, and all of that adds fuel and doubt to the connection, making you sink deeper into the energy of sabotage, guilt, rejection, and loss, okay? So the universe is saying it's time for you to celebrate this separation. It's showing you something, okay? And when you heal things in separation that trigger you deeply, more spiritual gifts end up being discovered, because then you are healing and clearing so much out of you that, okay, the way I see it is like the body is so dense, and the more we clear out a lot of these patterns that make us feel a lot of these lower vibrational energies for a long period of time, the more we clear that out, the more we get to experience our spiritual gifts, right? A spiritual gift could be something as simple as like detachment, right? Like being happy for somebody else and not being envious or jealous or like worried. Like these are all spiritual gifts that are coming through, like emotional fulfillment. The ability to not really feel rejected, like compassion, understanding. Even if rejection and loss happens, you're able to handle it in a way that allows you to move forward with grace. Those are all spiritual gifts that allows you to feel abundant. So many of you, that's the decision that you have to make. Okay, and we also, there it is, higher self-activation, and that's exactly what I was talking about with spiritual gifts. I feel like this reading is literally planting a seed for many of you who may be looking at separation in the wrong way. It really is a chance for you to step back and say, you know what, I'm not going to fight for closure here. These emotions aren't mine. I'm going to let my counterpart carry their emotions, and I'm going to be responsible and accountable for mine. You're going to use the silence and separation as a time to step back and to put the focus back into yourself. Okay, what are some things that are coming up for you to personally heal? Okay, so self-care, energy. So maybe many of you need to heal from the rejection loss, and that can feel really exhausting, right? Like it can affect us in so many different ways. I think I touched upon this in the last few readings as well, where I talked about many of you like needing to eat more healthy, like eating more foods that are alive, like paying attention to things like your energy levels, and making sure that you have a good exercise routine, and not so that you can get in shape and be fit and all these things, but to make sure that you're just staying healthy. You're paying attention to more than just your body on the outside. You're paying attention to your organs, making sure that you have a good, healthy skincare routine. Taking time out of your day to make sure that your home is clean, it's organized. All of these things play it plays a big role when it comes to a high vibration and being able to handle the bumps on the journey. And maybe many of you were not taking time out to self-care. You're staying stuck in this energy of despair, wondering when it is you'll communicate with them again, when the universe is saying, how many more days are you going to spend in that energy? Like, you need to take care of yourself. You need to shut this connection off for a little while, and it's okay to do that. And tend to yourself. Be selfish when it comes to self-care and getting your energy levels back where they need to be. Don't be afraid to schedule a checkup with the doctor, guys. Like, all of these things can sometimes seem like such mundane tasks, but it's important for us. It's important for us to take a time out from our brain feeling so fried when it comes to like emotions, all of the passion, the chemistry, the love, again, guilt, sabotage, rejection, loss. These are all heavy things that we carry on us, and it does take an emotional toll on our body. I guarantee many of you might be having aches and pains all over your body and you have no idea why. It's because there are certain habits, certain healthy habits that you are forgetting to take part in. When higher self activation comes, because your twin flame is putting you through all of these cycles, your body is literally shifting and changing. And so you have to place more emphasis on self-care, because you will lose your appetite. You will feel more drained and tired, but for some reason, you can still get up and keep going. You still need to tend to your body. Your body is what helps you to get moving. It gets you going every day. It helps you to bring in the pentacles, but your emotional body as well. It needs, again, that emotional self-care from you. It needs you to pay close attention to how it is you're feeling. If you wake up every day, you find that it's like, wait a second, I'm sleeping in too much. When I think of my person, I feel sick to my stomach. All of that needs to change. When you wake up every day in the morning, make sure you're doing healthy things for yourself in terms of self-care. Like, if the first thing you do is want to check your phone and check up on what your person is doing, delete any access that you have to them. Any apps on your phone that's showing you what's going on in their lives, or like whoever they're connected to, whatever the case is, like, make a conscious effort to say to yourself, like, those things don't have a place in my schedule. It doesn't have a place in my mind. Like, there's so many other things in my own individual life that needs tending to. I know there's so many things that I want to do for my space, or a business that I want to start, or a new hobby that I really want to get into. There's definitely things that we can do to add value to our own lives, but it's really easy to lose sight that it does get snatched by the twin flame journey sometimes, right? So pay attention to where your energy is going, okay? I'm going to close off this message by asking, what else is on the horizon? Okay, so we have that union energy for many of you. And this is where union comes from, is when you can actually stop and say, I'm not going to engage in runner chaser dynamics or cycles. Like, what is this teaching me about myself? And the more you do this, guys, the union energy does come back. You do get to experience, beautiful healed parts of yourself, and then you get to see that healing in your twin flame as well. And when you do have that union energy, however it is you connect, you start feeling like more grateful for the interactions. It's like true union energy is being able to have your heart bypass any of the physical blocks that may be perceived that are in the way from you two genuinely connecting. And then you start appreciating just connection at all, right? Like, many of us spend so many years on the journey feeling like union is a physical relationship with your twin, like, being in a marriage with them, in a relationship with them, whatever the case is. And then we spend so many years feeling disappointed after, like, disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. True union energy is the minute you start healing triggers within yourself that lets you know that you need control over this journey, you need to expect it to turn out in a specific way, when you start realizing like, wait a second, this is about me becoming the healthiest version of myself, like being able to stop and make a decision and say, no, the cycles that I'm going through with you, the way my life is going right now, everything, it's a hot mess and I need to stop and pause and tend to my own life right now. When you do shit like that, your twin literally showing up at your front door, so to speak. Okay, so I don't know who needed to hear this, but in this moment of silence and separation, all is well on the twin flame journey. Okay, everything is as it's supposed to be. All right, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys want to connect with me on a deeper level, go ahead and check out my Hipsy profile. I would love to work with you guys one-on-one and just be a place of clarity for you. And if you guys are interested in more extended readings, I do have my membership section over on YouTube. Check it out, guys. Until then, I'll see you in the next reading, okay? All right, bye.